Hello students, welcome to this video lecture on framing a legal framework. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss what are the laws the social entrepreneurs they have to follow or they have to comply with when they start a company, when they run a company, or when they practice something to create a social impact. Let us discuss this in detail in this video lecture. In India, social entrepreneurs are required to navigate a variety of legal frameworks to ensure that their ventures comply with the national regulations while fostering social impact. These legal structures help them balance their dual mission of achieving both social goals and financial sustainability. So, the legal framework is very much critical and essential for social entrepreneurs as it provides guidelines for establishing businesses that align with social objectives. So, comprehending legal structures, regulatory obligations that have to be followed, and compliance ensures that social ventures they not only fulfill their mission but also avoid legal pitfalls that could harm their credibility and operations. So they should not disobey the law, they have to follow the law of the land. Overview of legal framework. Social entrepreneurs face several legal and regulatory challenges when starting and scaling their enterprises. This lecture outlines the various legal structures, example trusts, Section 8 companies, LLPs, and regulatory factors such as taxation, fundraising, and employment laws that must be adhered to. The framework also examines how these structures influence the social impact and financial goals of a venture. First one is non-profit organizations, trusts. So legal structure, it is a legal structure. A trust is formed when the settlor transfers assets to a trustee for the benefit of a defined group, that is beneficiaries or a social cause. Settlor means an individual. Governing law. It is governed by the Indian Trust Act 1882. What are the benefits? They get tax exemptions under Section 12A and 80G of the Income Tax Act, which allows donors to claim deductions for charitable donations. The people, those who are donating to the trust, can get tax exemption. Challenges. So, limited flexibility in terms of profit generation and distribution, which can limit scalability for ventures that also aim to generate revenue. Next one is societies. Societies are legal structure. It is typically formed by a group of individuals who come together for a common goal. It must be registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860. So what is the governing law? It is governed by the Societies Registration Act 1860. Benefits. It provides greater flexibility in structure compared to trust and can engage in fundraising activities. Challenges. Not allowed to distribute profits among members, the focus is solely on social impact. Section 8 companies. So, under Companies Act 2013, it is legal. Section 8 companies are formed with a non-profit objective under the Companies Act 2013. They operate similarly to private companies but cannot distribute profits to members or shareholders. So, what is the governing law? Governed by the Companies Act 2013. Benefits. Allows for greater flexibility, better management, and the ability to raise funds from a wider range of sources, including grants and impact investments. These companies can also seek foreign funding. Challenges. Higher compliance requirements compared to trusts and societies, including mandatory financial disclosures. For profit social enterprises, B corporations, and limited liability partnerships. So, social entrepreneurs in India can also choose for-profit structures to combine business and social goals. They can also do social service at the same time earn revenue also. So these structures allow the enterprise to generate revenue while having a positive social or environmental impact. So private limited company, it comes under a private limited company can be registered under the Companies Act 2013. This structure is often chosen by social entrepreneurs who want to have a profit motive alongside social objectives. So, what is the governing law? It is governed by the Companies Act 2013. Benefits: limited liability, ability to raise capital, and the flexibility to attract investors. So, what are the challenges? Social impact may not be the main focus for investors in this model, requiring careful communication of the dual purpose. Next one is limited liability partnership, LLP. So what is the legal structure? An LLP is a hybrid structure combining the flexibility of partnership with the limited liability of a company. It is governed by the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. So governing law, it is governed by the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. So what are the benefits? It has flexible structure, lower compliance burden and limited liability. What are the challenges? More difficult to raise equity capital and attract investors compared to a private limited company. Hybrid models. Some social enterprises opt for hybrid models to balance the goals of both social impact and profit generation. These models allow the organization to attract both social and commercial capital while maintaining a strong focus on social outcomes. Impact First Ventures, blended value model, legal structure. These ventures combine elements of both for profit and non-profit models. The aim is to create measurable social or environmental value while also achieving financial returns. Governing law. These ventures may be structured as private limited companies, Section 8 companies, or even partnerships, depending on the scale and nature of the enterprises. Benefits can attract both commercial investors and grant making in organizations. Challenges balancing the demands of investors who expect financial returns with the need to maintain the social mission. Social impact bonds, legal structure. SIBs are unique funding mechanism where private investors provide upfront capital to fund social programs. If the program achieves predefined social outcomes, the government repays the investors with a return. Governing law. These are governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872 but also involve the cooperation of government bodies and private investors. Benefits. It provides upfront capital for social programs and reduces risk for governments. Challenges. It is very complex to design. It requires collaboration between multiple stakeholders. Next one is legal framework for raising funds and foreign investments. We can also generate revenue or attract funds from other countries. So this comes under Foreign Contribution Regulation Act FCRA 2010. Purpose: it regulates the receipt of foreign donations on contributions by social organizations. Social enterprises must register under the FCRA to receive foreign funding. What are the challenges? Compliance with rigorous reporting standards and restrictions on how foreign funds can be utilized. Legal framework for raising funds and foreign investments, impact investing. Purpose: social enterprises seeking funding from impact investors may raise capital through equity investments, debt financing, and other financial instruments. Framework governed by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, for public companies or other regulations as per the structure of the enterprise. Challenges: social enterprises need to clearly define the impact metrics to attract impact investors and ensure that their financial goals align with social objectives. Taxation and regulatory compliance for social enterprises. Social entrepreneurs need to be mindful of the various tax exemptions and compliance requirements based on their legal structure. Non-profit organizations, they are trusts and Section 8 companies, can apply for tax exemptions under Section 12A and Section 8G of the Income Tax Act for donations. For profit ventures, these will be subject to corporate tax laws. However, they can also access certain benefits like GST, exemptions for specific sectors, example education and healthcare. Intellectual property and social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurs may develop innovative products, services, and processes that benefit society. Protecting IP, that is intellectual property, is crucial in this context. Patents. If the social enterprise develops a new process or technology, they may seek patent protection under the Patents Act 1970. Trademarks. In order to protect their branding and ensure market recognition, social enterprises can register their trademarks under the Trademark Act 1999. For creative work such as written content, designs, or digital assets, copyright protection can be obtained under the Copyright Act 1957. Employment laws for social enterprises. Social entrepreneurs must ensure compliance with Indian labor laws, particularly when working with vulnerable populations. Minimum Wages Act under 1948, it ensures fair wages for workers. Under Factories Act 1948, for businesses that involve manufacturing, ensuring safe working conditions. Industrial Disputes Act 1947 governs dispute resolution mechanisms between employers and employees. Types of legal structures for social enterprises. Explanatory details. Social enterprises in India can adopt various legal forms based on their fundraising needs, growth strategies, and mission alignment. These include non-profit structures like trusts, societies, and Section 8 companies, for profit structures like private limited companies and limited liability partnerships, hybrid models combining profit and social impact objectives which offer flexibility for both. Trust. What is a trust? A trust is a legal entity where a group of people manage assets for the benefit of a social cause. Key regulations governed by the Indian Trust Act 1882. Example, the Akshaya Patra Foundation operates as a trust providing meals to school children. Tax exemptions and relatively simple structure. Challenges: limited ability to raise funds from equity investors and scalability issues. Next one is society. A society is a formal organization formed for educational, charitable, or social welfare purposes. Key regulations governed by the Societies Registration Act 1860. Example, Gunj, which repurposes urban waste material to create resources for rural areas, operates as a society. Advantages: easy to establish and transparent. Challenges: restriction on non-profit distribution might face challenges raising capital. Next one is a private limited company. A private limited company is a legal entity where the company's liability is limited to its shareholders. Example, Barefoot College works on empowering women in rural areas with solar technology. Advantages: access to equity capital and liability protection. What are the challenges? They need to balance commercial profit motives with social objectives. Limited liability partnership. Next one is explanatory details. This framework combines the flexibility of partnership with limited liability protection. Example, Biomi Environmental Trust operates as an LLP working on water conservation. Advantages: flexibility in management and limited liability. Difficulties in raising capital compared to private companies. Next one is hybrid models for social entrepreneurship. Hybrid models combine both non-profit and for-profit structures to maximize the impact. Example, Amal combines both profit motives and social benefits for dairy farmers. Advantages: access to both social impact and financial returns. Challenges: need for careful balancing of mission and profitability. Legal considerations for fundraising. Social entrepreneurs need to identify the right kind of funding, that is, grants or loans or investments, based on their goals. Considerations include capital requirements, fundraising stage, and mission alignment. Example, Jivika is a microfinance initiative that raises funds for women entrepreneurs through loans. Next one is FCRA. Under the FCRA, social enterprises must register to receive foreign donations. Teach for India has to comply with FCRA requirements for receiving international funds. And challenges: complex paperwork, compliance with government reporting, restrictions on the use of funds. Non-profit organizations are eligible for tax exemptions under Section 12A and 80G of the Gramin Income Tax Act. Example, the Indian Red Cross Society benefits from tax exemptions and has an easier time raising donations. Challenges: requires rigorous compliance and regular financial audit. Taxation for profit social enterprises. For profit social enterprises are taxed as per corporate tax laws but can still access certain exemptions like GST, exemptions for specific social goods. Example, Pollinate Group combines profit making with social objectives and benefits from tax advantages. Challenges, they have higher tax burdens compared to non-profits, especially when scaling. Raising funds from impact investors. Impact investors seek social, environmental, and financial returns. Example, Sarvajal, a social enterprise providing clean water, raised funds from impact investors to scale operations. Challenges, balancing financial return expectations with mission driven goals. Protecting intellectual property such as patents, trademarks, and copyrights, it is very crucial for social entrepreneurs, especially those innovating in social sectors. Example, Rural Shows patented its operation model for providing BPRO services in rural India. Challenges, the cost and time involved in securing IP rights can be high. Patents. Social enterprises innovating new products or technologies should consider protecting their ideas through patents under the Patents Act 1970. Example, Orogyam provides water filtration solutions and has patented their technology. Challenges, the process is lengthy and can be expensive for early stage enterprises. Social enterprises innovating new products or technologies should consider protecting their ideas through patents under the Patents Act 1970. Example, Orogyam provides water filtration solutions and has patented their technology. Challenges, the process is lengthy and can be expensive for early stage enterprises. Trademarks for branding. Trademarks are very critical for protecting social enterprises' brand and preventing copycat businesses. Example, Goonj has registered its brand to protect its identity in the market. Challenges, maintaining and defending the trademark against infringement, copyright protection. Copyright protects creative work like written materials, artistic designs, and digital content. Example, Tata Trust protects its educational materials used in its social initiatives. Example, legal costs and the need to renew registrations periodically. Social enterprises must comply with labor laws such as the Minimum Wages Act, Factories Act, and Industrial Disputes Act, ensuring employee rights are met. Example, Selco ensures fair wages and adheres to worker rights and benefits under Indian labor laws. Challenges, navigating complex regulations and ensuring fair employment practices. Social enterprises must comply with age regulations to ensure their employees are paid at least the minimum wage. Barefoot College follows wage laws to ensure fair compensation for its rural workforce. Challenges, maintaining compliance across multiple regions with varying degree of standards, varying wage standards. Enterprises working in environmental sectors, example waste management, water conservation, must comply with environmental protection laws. Example, Pollinate Group ensures its eco-friendly and product meet environmental regulations. Challenges, regulations can be complex and may require additional resources for compliance. Social entrepreneurs face challenges such as complex legal requirements, scaling while maintaining a mission, and securing sustainable funding. Navigating bureaucratic hurdles, balancing social goals with business demands, and adapting to evolving laws. Understanding the legal framework is crucial for sustainable and compliant social enterprises. Entrepreneurs should carefully consider the right legal structure based on their funding needs, growth plans, and social objectives. Legal compliance ensures long term credibility, trust, and alignment with social missions. Conclusion. The legal framework for social entrepreneurs in India is complex but offers a variety of options to support different types of social ventures, whether opting for a non-profit structure to maximize social impact for a profit structure to scale both financially and socially. It's crucial for entrepreneurs to carefully evaluate their mission, funding requirements, and long term goals. Understanding the legal regulations around fundraising, taxation, intellectual property, and compliance ensures that social enterprises not only thrive but also make a sustained, meaningful impact on society. Thank you.